Hi, third grade. Happy Wednesday. So, today we're going to continue reading our Frida Kahlo passage and we are going to answer some questions about it, okay? We need a small paragraph. We start with the claim. The claim is you just answer the question that they're asking you in one sentence, okay? But you flip the question. So if they say, what is the central message of this poem? The central message of this poem is, they give you the words, the starter in the question, okay? Then we've got evidence. You need at least two pieces of evidence. One of the questions that you're going to have today to fill out is going to ask you for three pieces of evidence. Say challenge. So you guys have a challenge. Say bring it, bring it. For the other ones, you can just still do two pieces of evidence like we normally do. So, E stands for evidence. You're going to have two pieces of evidence from the Frida Kahlo text to answer those questions, okay? You can start off with a sentence starter like, well, in the text it said, or I know because, or Frida Kahlo had a rough childhood because in paragraph 4 it said, or the author said. Okay, so that's the way you're going to start your evidence off. You need at least two pieces, except for that one question that's going to ask you for three pieces. Okay, and then the R at the end to close it on up. It's like a conclusion. You're concluding what you're saying, and you have to prove it. So the R is your reasoning. You're telling the reason why you chose that evidence. That's why it's called reasoning. Okay, so you explain how the evidence you picked supports your claim. You can restate your claim and say it again, but that's not enough. So you can say this evidence shows that Frida Kahlo had a rough childhood. True, but how do you know that evidence shows that? What's the reason you chose that evidence? This evidence shows that Frida Kahlo had a rough childhood. It shows the reader, or it helps the reader understand that she went through a lot of struggles, but she showed grit. Even though her legs were hurt and she hurt her foot, she still showed grit and zest and came out of it as an amazing artist. So she didn't let that keep her down. That's just some examples of what you can say, but you have to put it in your own words, okay? So I restated my claim and then I added to it why I chose the evidence I chose. You just tell the evidence a little bit more in your own words. So evidence comes right from the text. A lot of friends were getting confused with that. They were like, wait, I'm just going to say why I think this is true. Save that for your reasoning. Your evidence needs to come right from the text. Don't put it in your own words yet. Okay? Wait until you get to your reasoning, then you can do that. All right. So now let's go to the reading. All right, friends, I'm going to read it to you today. But remember, on ReadWorks, we have the audio, so you can press play, but you need to read along with the audio. I don't want you just listening and staring off into space or doing something else. You're going to miss important parts. You are reading this text. Got it? Got it? Okay, great. Let's get started. Frida Kahlo was a famous artist from Mexico. She is known for her striking self-portraits or paintings she made of herself. Frida was born in 1907 and grew up in Mexico. Oh wow, I didn't know look at this. ReadWorks lets us do this. So cool, you guys. Oh my gosh. I'm learning with you all. Normally I would cut this out of the video, guys, but I'm going to keep this here because this is showing that the more you play around with technology, you can learn more. And this is showing that Miss Hill is a continuous learner just like you. I learn new things every day. I can highlight an important fact. Wow. And then I can add a note, you guys. Watch. Frida was born. I'm going to say that this should go in the who key accomplishment side. So I'm going to put a little note for my thinking jobs. Add note. Wow. So every time I click this, I think the note will pop up. It popped up. Wow, that's so amazing. And you can save it or delete it. Oh, and look, here it is. It has a little space over here. This is so amazing. I did not know this. I want to show you the way that I'm looking at this. Watch, I'm going to X out. When you go to your assignment, you guys, this little screen right here, click that. When you click that screen, you can make notes here. Okay? Now, I'm hoping that this works on your end and it's not just the teacher version. Send me a message, you guys, and let me know if it works on your ReadWorks just like it's doing on mine. I hope it works for you too. Okay, let's go back. Let's start again. Frida Kahlo was a famous artist from Mexico. I'm going to highlight that. Oops. Famous artist from Mexico. Purple. I'm going to put that in the who side. She is known for her striking self-portraits or paintings she made of herself. This is key accomplishments. This is still who key accomplishments, right? Because this is something that she did that she's known for. She made awesome self-portraits. Frida was born in 1907 and grew up in Mexico. This is a who, when, where. I'm putting it on here. You can put it here or you can add it to your thinking jobs from yesterday if you need to, if you didn't write this already. She had a difficult childhood. When she was 6, she became ill with disease called polio. This disease damaged her right leg and foot. After that, Frida wore long skirts to hide her legs. In fact, her paintings almost always show her wearing a long skirt. So this is giving me a lot about who Frida Kahlo was and what she was known for. And it's also talking about like the beginning of her life when she was a kid, okay? When she was a little girl, 6 years old. Now it's going, so watch how this article is going from beginning, middle to end. So now we're at when she's a teenager. When Frida was a teenager, she was in a serious bus accident. Teenager. I'm going to highlight a different color for the middle. Bus accident. This is for the who side. What is happening to her? She had to stay in bed to recover from her injuries. I'm going to highlight also recover. She began painting from her bed to pass the time. Within a year, she had painted her first self-portrait. So she painted her first self-portrait when she was a teenager. It is called Self-Portrait in a Velvet Dress. And I'm going to type name of her first self-portrait. This painting was the first of many self-portraits to come. So that's telling me first of many. She's going to have lots more portraits. Okay, this is still telling me who she was, but it's also getting to why she's important. She was sick, she was hurt, but did she just give up and sit down and do nothing and just cry all day? No, she found a new hobby and a talent and pushed herself to become an artist. Okay, Frida's self-portraits are called surrealist. Her portraits are called surrealist. Surrealist artwork was realistic and fantastical or dreamlike at the same time. So this is how her paintings look. If you don't have this on your read works, you can be jotting this down so you remember for when we get to the questions. So how her paintings look like a dream, but also real. See, these are not complete sentences. These are just jots. You don't have to write a complete sentence. This can be seen in some of Frida's paintings. In one self-portrait, two Fridas are sitting next to each other. Both of their hearts can be seen through their bodies. So this is describing how her surrealist paintings look. Okay? So two Fridas sitting next to each other. I'm going to put one example of her paintings, or one type, right? This is one example of how it would look. Both of their hearts can be seen through their bodies. So I'm going to put both hearts. Seen through bodies. In another painting, vines grow out of Frida's stomach. Vines grow. Example of her surrealist paintings. Because can vines grow out of your body? Vines cannot grow out of your stomach, right? So that's more like fantasy, like they said before. Okay? Out of her stomach. Green. Yeah, can you have two Fridas? No. But what's real about it is Frida was a real person. She does have a heart. She does have a stomach. That is real. But it's not real to have two of the same person have vines come out of their stomach. You can't normally, can you normally see a heart through a body? No. So I'm going to put that note there too. Example of surrealist painting. Because you cannot see hearts through their bodies. But all bodies do have hearts, right? So that's the real part. So surrealist is when some things are real, some things are similar to reality, but they also still have some fantasy at the same time. That's really cool. So this is why another reason why she's very well known. Let's keep going. But Frida did not think of her paintings as fantastical. So she said, wait a minute, no. I don't think these are fantastical. I think that's important. Frida did not think her paintings as fantastical. So she had a different opinion, right? Or I wonder if you remember what that's also called when characters in a text or people, authors, have different views on something. I wonder if you remember. Different, starts with a P. Yes, different perspectives. She had a different perspective than the people viewing her paintings. Okay? She felt she was showing her own truth. So to her, she said, this isn't fantasy. This isn't fake. This is my truth. Let me highlight that. I'm going to put real to Frida, truth, because she felt like it was. Her paintings often showed the things that were troubling her. This sounds like importance, deeper meaning to me. I'm going to type that. Deeper meaning, importance, right? Troubling her. If it was troubling her, if something was troubling her, she decided to paint it. So to her, it is the truth. So maybe like hearts being seen means your heart hurts, or it's soft, it's fragile because you can see it. That's just an idea. You may think of something else. Okay, Frida's paintings, when people make art, it's for you to interpret what you think. Okay, let's keep reading. Some of her paintings showed things that were important to her. So here are two different things. She said, Frida says that some of her paintings, they either show so I'm going to say two types. They either show what's troubling Frida, or show what's important to Frida. Okay? I hope you guys are highlighting this with me if this works for you, or if not, jotting this down. These are lots of important facts. Look how much information we're getting from this, right? So make sure if you have not done your jots, the lesson before this, lesson for Tuesday, 428, yes, 428. If you have not done the thinking jots, make sure you go and do this, because look at all of the things that you can put in your thinking jots chart. We're finding so many facts. Okay, let's keep going. So there's two types of paintings. Some of them, she is surrounded by birds or animals. So some paintings, she has birds or animals in her paintings. Here's two more examples of things that she includes. Birds or animals. I remember seeing one of my favorite ones with her and a monkey. And then another one I like, yeah, I saw one with a bird as well. Oops, this one wasn't done. Birds and animals, and the other one, or she would be wearing traditional Mexican clothing, showing her connection to her country. So she would have birds or animals in her paintings, or she would wear her traditional Mexican clothing connected to her country. Let me not forget that. That's important. So remember, before we got down here, it said that Frida, she draws two types of paintings. She would either paint something that showed what troubled her, or she would paint something that showed what was important to her. But they just told us the types of paintings. They either had birds or animals, or her wearing Mexican clothing and representing her country, right? Let's go to that last note. So these things must be things that are either important to her or troubling her. So either her country must be something that was important to Frida, and also probably troubled her and made her upset. Maybe there were things that were happening in Mexico that bothered her. Also, birds and animals. She probably thought birds and animals and different types of animals were important. And it maybe troubled her that people weren't always treating animals kindly. And I know that she was an activist and she stood up for their rights. So they're giving us little hints right there. So I'm going to write down here in my notes next to examples. Animals, Mexican clothing, I'm going to say these were things that were important to Frida. Or troubled her. Troubled is another word for bothered or made her upset or made her worry. Okay. Last sentence. Over the course of her life. That means her whole life. So see, we've done all of that. Here we started with the beginning when she was a little girl. Here's a teenager and her getting older. And then here's when she's a full adult. Okay. Over the course of her life, Frida painted 55 self-portraits. Okay. So during her life, she painted 55 self-portraits. That's so many of herself. I'm going to put lots of paintings during her lifetime. She is remembered as a talented artist and important figure. So this is starting to make me think about this bottom part down here. Everything in blue sounds like the deeper meaning or the importance. Like, why are we learning about her? The so what importance part. Well, she did very different paintings. Most people did not do surrealist paintings at that time when she was alive. Also, she was a female artist. They didn't have a lot. She made her first painting when she was a young teenager, which is not the norm. That's not always what happens. It's usually older people. She also painted about things that were true to her, things that bothered her, and things that were important, like her country and animals and standing up for their rights. So that sounds like a reason why she's known and why she's important. Also, she made 55 self-portraits over her life. That's a lot. Some famous artists don't even have that many paintings. They maybe have a few that they're famous for. Okay, some are only famous for one painting. She had 55 self-portraits, so that makes her important. So I would put why she's important, why we're learning about her is because she was a talented artist. Another reason we're learning, I could also add that to this note. Lots of paintings in her lifetime. This shows why she's important and we are learning of her. Okay. Oh, and it says it right here, and she's an important figure. We just said that. She's an important figure in the world because we can learn a lot from her. She also, another reason that would go to the deeper meaning, go back up, you guys, to where it says when she was a kid and she got sick. She didn't give up. I would jot that down. Where is that? Damaged her foot. Showed grit. Didn't give up. She also showed enthusiasm and zest, right? To paint 55 paintings and to also paint even though you can't even get out of bed, that's definitely showing enthusiasm and zest and grit and not giving up and just being positive. And also when she's hurt, positive even when she's hurt. Right? She's pushing through. Okay. So that also will tell me why she's important and what we can learn from her. Okay, look here, you guys. I wrote this down for you. I'm going to write this in the instructions as well. So make sure you pay attention. For number one and two, only one sentence. You do not need to write a CER like we went over before. The claim, evidence, reasoning, you don't need that. Just answer in one sentence. For number 3, 4, and 5, you need a CER. You need a claim, your evidence, and reasoning. Okay, one of these is going to ask you for 3 pieces of evidence, but the others, you just need 2 pieces. So a claim, flip the question, 2 pieces of evidence, where in the text did you find the answer, and then your reasoning. Restate your claim and give me a little bit more of why you chose that evidence. Okay, number 1 and 2, do not spend time writing a CER. Just answer in one sentence. Number 3, 4, 5, I would like you to write a CER. Okay, got it? All right, number 1, you do not need a CER. Just write one sentence answer, a one sentence answer. Frida Kahlo was a famous artist from Mexico. What kind of artwork is she known for? We took lots of notes on that. You also should have that in your thinking jobs. Flip it and say, Frida Kahlo was known for painting blank paintings. She was known for this type of artwork. Remember, go back to the text, find the answer, type it in one sentence. Frida was a famous artist who was known for painting blank paintings. What was the name of it? Okay? All right, let's go to our second question.
Frida Kahlo had a difficult childhood. What information from the text supports this statement?
We went through why she had a difficult childhood. So all you have to do is say, Frida had a difficult childhood because when she was a kid, she blank. Or when she was little, she blank. Her childhood was different because she blank. That's it. Okay? You don't need to tell me a full CER. One sentence. Okay? 1 or 2 sentences. All right, let's look at 3.
Describe Frida Kahlo's self-portraits using at least 3 pieces of information from the text.
Okay, describe Frida's self-portraits. So here's what we're going to do a CER, and they're asking you for 3 pieces of evidence. Okay, so describe Frida's self-portraits. Frida's portraits were blank. Frida's portraits were sometimes this and also this. I know because, or in the text it said that she included this in her portraits. In the text it said she also had this. Remember, we went through and found the different types of examples of how her portraits looked. Okay, you need 3 pieces of evidence and then you close it up. This evidence proves that Frida's portraits were blank and blank, or Frida's portraits included this. Okay, CER for number 3. Number 4, you need a CER as well.
Explain why Frida Kahlo did not think of her paintings as fantastical. Use evidence from the text to support your answer.
Good, we already talked about that. Remember, she had a different what? A different right? Remember that? Perspective? So you just need to explain why she thought something different. We went through and we found there was two types of paintings she would paint. She would paint paintings that either she thought things were this or she thought the things were this. Okay? Use evidence. So your claim could sound something like, Frida Kahlo did not think her paintings were fantastical. I know because in the text it said she thought the paintings did this. Or in the 3rd paragraph it said she only painted things that were this to her. Okay? This evidence shows that Frida did not think her paintings were fantastical, or Frida had a different perspective. Okay? Something like that. Go type it in your own words. CER for number 4. Okay? Number 5, last one, you need a CER for this one too.
What is the main idea of this text?
You guys, we know this already. If you did your thinking jobs, if you've listened to me read this with you and you've read it more than once, main idea is the same way of saying the central message of this text. We already found that when we typed in our thinking jobs on the so what, why, Why is this important? Why is this person important? What is their importance? Okay? You already know that. So look at your thinking jobs. Rewind this video back if you need to listen to Miss Hill go through it again. Read the text again. And at the bottom, and there was one part in the middle and one part in the bottom that really helped us figure out the main idea of this whole entire text. Why are we reading this text? What does the author think about Frida Kahlo? Why is she important? Why are we learning about her? That's what you're going to write here. So the main idea of this text is Frida Kahlo, blah, 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 blah. I know because also, or in the text, this shows the author feels that Frida Kahlo is, or this helps the reader understand that the main idea is Frida Kahlo blank. Okay? If you would like to read the ebook as well and look at the pictures to help you, please do that. It also has the play button.
This
remember?
can be seen in some of.
Okay. Go back and watch this video again. If you get confused on the questions, take your time. Okay? Also, go back and look at the CER poster if you need it. All right? You got this. Bye, friends.